Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason, and then he says Jim Norton.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day.
Like,
That's not even a big fucking
That's
deal.
True. Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you?
We really did.
We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
oh, you get it! Oh, welcome to the Triplefour podcast.
Go ahead.
What's up, foreheads?
Triplets.
How we doing? We got a regular panel today, you know, just the...
Not so easy, is it?
The classic trio.
No, you can do it. We should switch it up.
Yeah, so switch it up.
Switch it up. Go ahead.
Switch it up. Hey, welcome, foreheads. I
Welcome,
had a whole
foreheads. Who the fuck says that?
welcome.
It's triplets. Or headheads.
What's up, foreheads? Anyway, we have with us today
Dan Stewart Jr.
You remember last time you had to top a fun house, so I'm going to let you go first.
No, do whatever you want.
No, I'm talking about Joss.
Yeah.
No, I'm just Josh Oval.
Make it as ambiguous as possible.
Josh. Zol. Well,
Good vibrato.
okay. Listen to Luciano. Maybe.
Luciano Pavarotti.
Well, he's about to kill me now.
Today's second sponsor, Pavarotti Industries, the distributor of Luciano Pavarotti's music. If you haven't checked out Pavarotti lately, he's probably dressed like a 16th century king somewhere.
Somewhere.
Is he alive? Maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Pavarotti's still around.
You can go and look that up.
That's a Google search on that one.
Scarch. Look that up for us. Pavarotti died in 2007.
That's
What?
a bummer.
What?
Did you hear that from Scarch, our engineer?
Yeah. He finally pulled it together, and that's what he told me. Anyway, rest in peace, Pavarotti. Shout out to new music.
Was Pavarotti
Shout
at
out to,
the Who Goes There show?
The ghost.
Pavarotti's ghost?
We had the hologram of Pavarotti backing us
Like
on
if he-
Friday night at New Craig.
Oh, he said it.
It's the name of the... I said it.
Look, all I'm saying is if you have a 14th century kind of ghost looking after you, might be Pavarotti.
We did pretty good, you know?
Did he open for you?
Pavarotti did the... You know how Ben normally does the little pedal intro thing, you know,
Sure.
where he's got some effects and stuff? Pavarotti, the ghost of Pavarotti, did all the effects.
Cool.
So
Even had
that was
lasers.
pretty good, and I'm glad that he did that because there were some people there. It was a pretty good, you know, overall pretty good turnout for an icy, snowy. It didn't snow. It didn't. Things were
No,
frozen,
it's
but
just
the roads
icy.
never froze. Everybody freaked out in typical St. Louis fashion.
Yes.
What better atmosphere for a Who Goes There show?
This is true. This is true.
You have people freaking out before they see the band.
They're
And then
scared.
when they see the band, they get even
Yeah,
crazier.
Then they just fucking lose it. But
They get hyped up a little bit before the show.
is it just me? Or are things getting crazier out there?
Ooh, Joker now on Blu-ray, also in theaters. It's still in
again.
theaters.
Oh, it's still. Wait,
Low
Anyway.
key, shout out to the weather. I think that if it had been nice out, if it wasn't like it was, I think there would have been too many people there for the size of that basement. Like the basement was full. It was just the right amount of people.
Gotcha.
And it felt good. Also, shout out Reeling and Inches from Glory for local support. Check out Inches from Glory's new EP. It's out there. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I heard it.
I'm going to.
And let's talk about the venue.
Let's talk about it. That is the original catchphrase of the Triplefour podcast. Let's talk about it. So I think we should.
Let's talk about it. You know, I'm sure Dan's going to relate this back to something later, but so we went to this venue, right? We played at this venue.
Yeah.
New Craig.
Yeah, which, for the record, I was trying to figure out where it was, and then I guess on the page it says, ask for address, which I couldn't see, so I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it said DM for address, which...
Dungeon Master for
yeah,
address.
Dungeon Master
Yeah.
address.
Not playing D&D there, too. Okay.
All you had to do was pull out your dodecahedron die
Yeah.
and roll for initiative.
And if you get a critical, then you get the address.
Get a critical, then the house comes to you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, changing
you
it
don't
up.
have to
This
drive.
campaign's crazy.
Man,
I like it.
I like things now.
Anyway, we fucking opened, you know, and we were getting there. Me and Ben woke up and went to load gear, and you know, Ben showed up. I had the idea already. I was like, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm low key thinking about messaging the other bands and being like, hey, maybe we should cancel or reschedule. You know?
Based on the ice.
Based on the this could
Yeah.
be dangerous for a lot of people that
Yeah.
are coming from like St. Charles. But the show must go on. I didn't do that, but I just thought it was funny when Ben walked up and we went to load out initially, like
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we went to the venue. He showed up and he was like, yeah, and like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but I was thinking about messaging, and I was like, yeah, I'm right there with you. This shit, we're loading out in the fucking freezing rain.
Yeah, 'cause it was pretty
This is
dangerous. one day.
miserable.
Like, it was
And it wasn't so that, like, you know, at the place where we're loading out, we had a carport where we can pull in, and that's fine. We're not getting rained on. But
Yeah.
we're like, when we get there, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
So we did all that. We schlepped all our gear in the freezing rain down to South City to this venue, and we put on our show. And sometime after the set, my point being for you, because I told Dan this earlier, but
The beer?
Any- yeah,
What happened? What happened?
You
What just
okay?
happened?
I farted.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Shit.
Anyway,
Well, it's
sorry.
out on the airwaves.
Well, the
now.
fact that the way you looked made it seem like you were like an intense thought, like something new occurred.
It was like you
No,
left the
it's just-
stove on.
No,
you, you were like,
oh shit!
hold for fart.
My car's open.
They had a mini fridge in the basement that said, "Don't steal beer without asking,"
Okay.
which, you know, in my mind means
So wait, so you walk up, so can I steal this? And they're like, all right.
no. In my mind, it just means
Don't
like,
steal
you know,
without asking?
ask first. Don't just take it. You know, which
May
is
I steal this?
That's always kind of been my philosophy. I don't like when people just take things. I
Yeah.
would like you to. I'll give it to you
Yeah.
if you ask. Just ask first. You know. So that in my mind, I'm like, just ask, and then you can have a beer.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
no big deal. So I go upstairs and I go to the owners of the house, and I was like, "Hey, I came to inquire about your finest stag," and they were like, yeah, we have them in the fridge. That'd be $1.50. And I'm just kind of like,
That is.
what?
Bro, I can get a 6-pack
what?
of these
Just-
for $1.50.
Like, I just
Yeah.
want one beer. I ran out of beer. I just want one beer. I play. You know, I'm playing.
Yeah.
These people did not know me, so I don't think that they even knew. Also,
Look,
for
Craig.
people that are running a house venue,
Craig. I
none
like
of
the old
them,
Craig.
none of them watched any of the sets. They hung out in the kitchen the whole time. None of them watched any of the music, which is weird to me.
Why run a house venue
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of. I know. This is the weirdest part.
to
of my
charge people for beer?
To charge people for beer. So they go, that'll be $1.50. And I was just kind of like, like it caught me off guard because I thought they were just gonna be like, yeah, go ahead, you know. And it threw me into a disarray of just, morally, I did not want to give them the money because I'm like, I schlepped my shit
Yeah,
in
that's
the
it,
freezing
yeah.
rain to come
Yeah.
here to play music.
You could have easily.
I'm
gotten
asking
out of
for
this.
one beer.
Yeah.
Well, you're being paid.
I'm
an
not
exposure.
getting any part of. There was like they
The Instagram
raised
model.
money for merch and door and all that stuff and gave
Yeah.
it to the other bands. We didn't ask for any of that. I was like, dude, just give me a beer.
Yeah.
And they go, here's the worst part of it. I pull out a 5. out of my pocket,
Oh, no,
and that's all I have.
Yeah.
I don't have any singles. Like, I spent all my money through the holidays and shit. Literally have $5 in my pocket. One $5 bill. I pull that bill out, and I was like, like, clearly I didn't have the. They're like, I don't really have change to break it. You know what? It'd be easier. Can you just Venmo us?
Yo, what the fuck?
$1.50 for this beer? And
dude, this stag has to hit different.
like,
if
In
you're
the
buying...
description, it says this beer. Like, just...
I was devastated.
Why
I
don't you
was
just
like,
steal
there
it?
are like such moral
Clearly, the sign said you could steal
conflict
it, but you asked.
to the point where I was like, you know what? Fucking never mind.
So next time you're at New Craig, just go ahead and steal the beer.
Yeah, you can ask.
We're advocating for that.
Ask first, and then steal it, because you followed the rules.
Ugh.
And we were joking about like the kidnapper is like $10,000 and we'll give your child.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, I don't have cash. Will you accept Venmo?
It's like-
And just like,
That's the thing too. For
Okay.
$1.50 to pull out the phone and be like, oh, yeah, hold
Yeah.
on. What's your?
And like I said, this is fucking stag. This isn't like you're getting like the most like perennial beer, like this really
Yeah.
great. It's like you're getting water essentially.
it's the limited.
This stag must have hit different if you tasted it, in order for this to be this mad of like of a problem.
You haven't had Stag 2?
Yeah, they had Stag 2.0 at the venue, guaranteed to make you hit different as soon as you
You
taste it.
drink this stuff?
So anyway, I quit the band.
Shit. Well.
Oh, that's a
Oh, follow-up question. So you weren't playing with Jake at this show?
No, Jake was not. He went to Black Flag actually,
Oh yeah, I
which
saw
was
that. Is
weird. Black Flag played in
St.
Charles.
Peters. No, they played in St. Peters, Missouri.
Missouri,
Yeah.
this Friday.
At a venue I've never heard of called
Never
like
in my
Diamond something. Diamond
like a
Music Hall or something.
150 person max place.
Nobody fucking knew about this. I saw people post about it after the fact, saying, "Wait, Black Flag was in
St. Peters, Missouri.
St. Peters."
They caught us all slipping. They caught us all.
I saw like Facebook ads for it. Although I really like Black Flag, who's even in that band at this point? Like, it cannot be.
It's not
any
Rollins.
original.
It's not Rollins.
Well, duh.
I know
But, like,
that- I know
Mike
that-
V was their singer for a bit, but
for,
it's not
for
him
a
anymore.
Stint,
Yeah.
yes.
Who's
I know
the guitar player? The guy, I don't remember his name.
probably him
He's kinda
and
there.
like Bill Stevenson. I know tours with him sometimes.
Robert Louis Stevenson, author of Treasure Planet or Treasure Island. I mean.
Treasure Planet?
He wrote
The sequel.
Treasure Planet.
The sequel,
Disney
no.
Channel movie.
No, Bill Stevenson is the drummer. He also plays with Descendants and.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, like, because I remember from Decline of Western Civilization, the guitarist was like the core guy.
Yeah. I always wonder with somebody like Bill Stevenson how you split up. If you were in two. He was in other bands besides that, but being in two such legendary punk bands like Descendants and Black Flag, how do you split up that workload of touring? You know?
Also, wasn't Descendants kind of a brainchild of one guy also? Like, the one guy who's, like, super well educated and shit?
Milo
Maybe.
from the album
From the
Milo,
album
Goes to College. Yeah.
How would they make that if he was at college?
Well, they made it, and then he went to college.
Well, we're really asking the questions here on the Triple Four podcast today.
The big questions.
Big questions.
Uh,
Anyway.
That's too easy.
Yeah, they wound up. I think whenever Milo did that, they made Milo Goes to College, and then he left. They may have done one other before that, but they made the album Milo Goes to College. Milo,
Went to college.
spoiler alert, went to college, and then
Excuse me?
the band became All.
Right.
They were called All. And it was a different vocalist. It was basically Descendants with a different vocalist. And then Milo finished his degree and came back and they made a bunch more albums. And now they're wildly successful.
There's a documentary about them that I've been meaning to watch, and that would probably clear up some of these questions.
Milo
Filmage.
goes to grad
Yes.
school.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Filmage, or is it Film Age?
Film Age or Filmage, because they have
Milo, come on Triple Four podcast.
the two songs on Milo Goes to College, which
Like
is
My
My
Age.
Age and Bike Age. Or is it Bike Age?
Bikeage. And then they also have an album, like a live album called liveage and or live age. So,
Was it a spit
number
take?
1 Descendants podcast in the world, Triplefour podcast.
Hell yeah.
I did find out today.
You know, without your glasses, you kind of look like a young Bill Stevenson.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Scarch put up a picture of Bill Stevenson. So we can compare.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That is crazy.
I can kind of see it.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Wow.
There is something to be admitted here. I did find out today that Jean-Claude Van Damme and his son Chris Van Damme are starting a podcast, and therefore we can no longer be the number 2 podcast in the world. We are now number 3.
We just keep getting.
I mean, how can
down.
we possibly do better?
I wonder if you'll like do martial arts, and you could just hear it. You don't see
Yeah.
it. You just hear him. Whoop, whoop, just you
just
hear
a lot
the
of-
wind. Yeah.
That's most of their podcasters. I'm curious, what are they going to talk about?
Martial
Like,
arts, obviously.
Martial arts. My name is Marshall. Martial Arts.
Mathers.
Man.
Is that
Martial
Eminem's
Arts
middle name?
Mathers.
Arts.
Oh my God.
Martial Arts Mathers.
He's destined to get into art. Bad
Speaking
name.
of art, it sucks for one. So
Agreed.
what'd you say?
Agreed.
Yeah,
I thought you said Lou Reed for a
I thought
second.
you said Lou Reed also,
Lou
and I was like,
Reed.
damn,
Yeah.
what did Lou do for you to hate on him so quickly? Lou
Lou Reed destroyed punk.
Lou Reed destroyed culture. So while all that was going on, the Who Goes There show, the Black Flag show, all that fun stuff happening here in St. Louis, I took a little trip to across the pond, as they say, Chicago, Illinois.
That's not across the pond.
It's across the
I
pond.
guess across the river, I guess.
The pond.
Anything's a pond if you look
What's
at it.
the pond?
Chicago, Illinois.
A whole big pond.
The dusty city. The city that never sleeps. The Chicago,
Because
Illinois.
there's so much fucking dust.
Yeah. Because there's no wind. It doesn't blow it away. Took a little trip to Chicago, Illinois, and I did something I haven't done before. I took the Amtrak train
Oh, yeah.
instead of driving because, little known fact, it's not,
Driving to Chicago sucks.
it
dude.
does.
Yeah, see,
It's
and
fucking
it's
awful.
terrible.
It's not fun.
Every time.
And you can't park anywhere in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
And so why not take the train? It only takes like 45 minutes more, and it's pretty cheap. It's like $30 for
It's
a ticket.
really cheap and it's fucking chill.
It's pretty chill.
You can bring beers on the. I don't know if
They
you
sell
know
beer
this.
on
you
the
can
train.
bring beers on the train.
You can
and just
bring-
sit there. I don't think that you're supposed to, but
You can bring whatever you want on the train because
You
there
just
is
sit there
no
and
security search.
Oh, no, there isn't. No.
No,
Yeah.
no. I remember some years back when I did go and I was still partaking in.
Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it.
Don't. I don't want to know this.
Weed.
Oh, what is that?
Couldn't tell you, but
Anyway.
no. Sometimes they have a canine unit in the station, not on the train.
Yeah.
But
So
I get a little nervous.
when you took the train, because I think the St. Louis station was only established something like 10 plus years ago.
Man,
it
it looks
is
like garbage.
it
for
is a
being
fucking
founded that
trash station.
In
It is
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that
It's
place is awful.
long. Terrible.
Yeah.
And so when I was there, I was just like, man, train culture is fucking weird.
Yeah.
I was sitting there because it says this is the first time I've taken an Amtrak in the United States. I'm taking trains in Europe, but it said arrive 45 minutes prior to departure, which is completely unnecessary because,
No,
again, there's
yeah.
no security check. There's nothing going on. You could just show up 20 minutes till your train leaves
Yeah.
and
You
get
could
in
show
line.
up 10 minutes before your train.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's just people sitting around
Yeah.
in the station.
But then you get on the train, and really, it's the exact same thing as being on an airplane, because like the way that the thing is laid out, and you're sitting there, except for you have more freedom to move around. They have the cafe cart and that whole thing.
They have the observation cart
They do.
which is neat. Yeah, that's
where
the
it's
neatest part.
just all like a big glass dome kind
Yeah,
of thing.
and the
You
seats
just-
are really like wide, so you can have
Yeah.
space.
So on the way back, I was really hoping to get a seat by myself because even though the seats are bigger than plane seats, like if there's like somebody sitting next to you, there is this weirdly uncomfortable nature of like, man, I can't stretch out as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
But I was just like, shit. Well, I guess I'm not
There's
getting my
never
own seat.
that many people on the train.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Sometimes there are. For certain stretches, there are.
Yeah.
But if you're going the whole distance, I found that was not as popular. Like there were some people who were just going from like Joliet, Illinois to Springfield or shit like that, or Alton to the middle of Illinois.
1, 2, maybe 3 stops.
Yeah,
over.
which I thought was strange because it's like in that case just drive, but maybe they can't. I don't know.
Maybe
So
they
anyway,
don't have a car.
I don't have a car. That's what they say.
And that's what. Yeah.
I don't have a car.
I love a car.
On the way back, I sat down and I just sat down next to some guy and I tried to pick the like skinniest, least like demanding looking person. And I sat next to him and it was probably about 20 minutes into the ride where he got up and scooched by me, and then later when I went to the thing to buy a snack, I saw that he was just chilling in the observation deck. He was in the observation deck the entire ride. And all he did was bring, which was not a bad play.
What time was your train departure?
So on this particular ride, I departed at 1:45 p.m. and we were supposed to, when we got there at 7:30.
Okay.
He just pulled out like a bunch of bags of chips that he had packed for himself and a book, and he just went to the observation deck and was there the entire time. So when we got to St. Louis, he had not come back. And I'm pretty sure that our cart was reserved for people who were headed to St. Louis because when we got there, they disconnected the rest of the train. And I was thinking, okay, I know I saw that guy take a bunch of chips and stuff, but that doesn't mean he took his bag. He never came back. So if his bag was still above our seats, it is in St. Louis and he is somewhere else.
Oh.
Like, because that train, the rest of the train took off, and he was in there.
You never introduced yourself. I made some pretty good friends on the train, actually.
No, it's not
like
really
people
my
that I
vibe.
still keep tabs on Facebook now. But
See, anytime I went in the train, I just sat down. I'm like, I don't really care.
Befriended train people.
But I'm just by myself on the train. I just want to be left alone. I just want to get to where I need to go.
either people from Chicago that fuck with St. Louis, or people from St. Louis that were going to Chicago for similar reasons that I was.
What an idiot.
An idiot.
But it was, yeah, I mean, for the most part, pretty mellow.
I like the train.
Yeah. And like we were talking about the observation deck, I felt like when I was riding it, I really saw a lot of America. You know, even though it's just Illinois. Like, man, there was, because, I mean, obviously train tracks were built and towns grow around train tracks, at least early on in American
No, that's
history.
not how that works.
Okay. And so there was a lot of these like small towns and stuff, like places I didn't even really realize were a thing, like Lincoln, Illinois, like
Oh yeah.
pretty lot, some stuff going on there.
Wonder why it's named that.
No idea.
Couldn't tell
The
you.
Penny guy.
Mr. Pennyman.
Pennywise?
Mr. Penny. Pennywise the president.
What a weird time in American history.
But there was a lot of stuff out there, and it's just like, it really goes to show how much country there is, how much people there are.
Yeah.
And that was a vibe I really got. And I was like, man, there's a lot of fucking people out here. They don't even care about our podcast.
And there's something like that's, they don't care about. We're the number 3
We're
podcast.
the number 3 fucking podcast, and they don't even care.
There's also sometimes during the train too, you're just directly in someone's backyard too. Like at
Yeah.
certain times, you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" If
couldn't
a kid throws the football and the train's coming, oh, that's gone.
It's gone.
It's either that or it's bouncing right back at him at like 50 miles an hour.
There was a close to the place where I grew up. There were some train tracks that run under a bridge. If you follow the train tracks down far enough, you find abandoned train cars,
I was like homeless, but
and they are directly backed up to someone's backyard. And these people had placed a trampoline on the side of the train car, which, by the way, is like 30 feet tall. This is a really big train car.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously these kids were climbing up on the train car and jumping off, and we, naturally I got to do the thing. So we got up on top of this train car and I jumped onto the trampoline. I just did a butt bomb onto the trampoline, and a lot higher than I thought it was. Straight up touched bottom, like hit the trampoline and dirt.
Tailbone reaches concrete.
And the whole thing fucking snapped and wrapped you up.
Like a taco.
In a trampoline.
And I died, and I'm here as my ghost on the podcast.
Trampoline cocoon.
But no, I did have a story. I mean, it's not really that much of a story, though. But when I was on the train for school, I had to go to Chicago. And there was a time in which we went up to the observation deck, and I was just talking to people, and I was going to go back to grab something. And there was a couple, and just in the front, and they were just like kind of like have a blanket over them, but they were just like kind of reading something and like or watching something, I think it was. And I was like, there's nothing of it. But this kind of continues into a trend of them essentially just being on their sides, lying on top of each other near the end of it. As I kept going back and forth to the observation deck to grab something that I needed, I kept seeing them like transition into just this like them being on top of each other in the train where everyone can see them, because as soon as you like reaches those doors, it just it opens up and you walk in. So they're like the first one. So every time I went there, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? And someone came up to me and when they're coming back from the observation deck, and they're like, yo, do you see that couple up there that's legitimately just like, it looks like they're fucking up there? I'm like, yeah, I know. I've seen it. I've seen the whole fucking story. And this happened over the course of probably like...
Quick question.
Yeah.
Were those people fucking on the train?
You would think. The way they were looking, it looked like it, but I wasn't seeing like motion.
Maybe they're subtle fuckers.
I'm just saying, it's probably subtle.
Check out my new band, The Subtle Fuckers, at the Sinkhole.
We definitely saw some people at Gito's getting jiggy in a booth.
Oh, no, are you saying that I was there? Because I remember seeing that.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay.
No, there was like a specific couple that were like notorious. Like every time they came in, these, what did we call it? We gave them a nickname.
The Booth Babes.
The Booth.
I mean, that's probably as good as you're gonna get.
The Boofers.
The Booth Boofers.
Boofers.
I remember seeing a couple that was totally having sex in the booth at the Italian restaurant in which I was formerly employed.
The fact that you make that your destination to fuck, like that's the destination. Like it.
No, you're hardcore. You're just like, hey, we're gonna do it anywhere we can.
Oh yeah, what if
like
they
a
had
checklist? Italian restaurant, train, movie theater, golf course.
Italian restaurant.
What if it's the
Chinese
same couple that I saw on the train?
Mexican restaurant.
Maybe.
Damn.
Burger joint.
Small world, you know.
Train.
Abandoned mall.
Let's go to the Mills.
Can't do that.
Can't go anymore. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, Chicago, the Big Apple. It was as
it's always known.
Yeah, as it's known. The first city, Chicago.
First ever in existence.
First one. First time that I really got to explore a little bit, walk around, take the L on my own independently. The only other times I've really been there was for a night, just see a concert. And it was just hotel, get to the venue, back to the hotel, wake up, drive home. So
what's the longest you've ever spent in Chicago?
It was this, because I got on the train Thursday afternoon, arrived Thursday night, pretty much immediately had to go to bed because it was kind of late anyway. And then...
at 7:30?
No, well, I was staying with my friend Nathan. He works a real, 8 to 5 job, so I didn't want to, ruin that. And, we stayed up for a little bit, probably till midnight or something, and then went to bed. And then, got up. I had a tour that I was going on of a school, prospective university. That's why kind of the reason to go. So I got up, traveled downtown, went to that, went to the Art Institute Museum, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But then kind of after that, met up with him again after he got off work, and we, hit the town, hopped a couple bars, went to sleep, woke up, hung out for a second, then got on the train. So it was pretty much like a night and a half,
Granted, a lot can happen in that time.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm some fucking expert. I mean, I don't know.
I was gonna say I've gone tried. Here's the thing about Chicago is it's so fucking expensive.
It is.
I've gone and tried to stay for 2 weeks. Would be the longest that I've gone. Lasted about a week and a half, and then I was like, I'm out of money. I gotta go.
Especially, you know, when you're like trying to like do stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
And oh man, I mean, like, my friend's apartment, and he probably, if he listens to this, won't be offended if I say this. Very small, you know, studio apartment. It's pretty much one room with a kitchen attached.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard. Unless you're doing very well for yourself, that's pretty
Yeah.
standard for Chicago.
And then the bathroom was like hilarious. Like, it was so awkward because there was, you know, the shower was decent, but then like like architecturally, it just did not make sense.
Was it clean?
Yeah, it was clean.
Okay.
But like nice in the sense that it was clean, like the building and
That
the room and stuff.
question is stemming from
This
past
comment about
trauma.
Oh, the bit about the bathroom though was the toilet, which was like there was basically like you walk in the bathroom, there's the shower on your left hand side. And then there's like this bottleneck of the walls, like close in, and you have to like squeeze by it to get to where the toilet is. And then when you sit down at the toilet, it's like the sink is right above your knees. Like the sink is so close to the front of the toilet. It's like when you're on an airplane and the tray comes down. Like that's kind of like where the sink was. Like you could be like playing around in the sink with it. And it was like a bit. It was like this is a classic like big city studio apartment where there's all these corners being cut. Yeah, it was weird. But and then he told me it was like this is $1,000 a month, and I'm like,
Yeah, I would
fuck.
figure. Yeah.
Like it's like crazy because the apartment that we shot the space in was $400 something a month, and it's just like this is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like this apartment that's not even the size of my room from my apartment in Lawrence is twice the price. It's fucking crazy.
I've gone to explore Chicago a little bit, and because of my time, my 2 trips I had from school, and then I had a trip up to see my sister who lives up there, and so I've had time to do a couple bars there that are really cool.
Yeah.
There's one this is a dive bar that you can get the cans from the fridge to pick out which one you want, and then bring it up to the cashier, and they open it, and then that's how they charge you. That's how they keep tab even. So that's kind of cool. And then there's another one that's like Hawaiian themed that's hard to kind of find because it's like almost in an alley. You only can find it by like tiki torches. And so I mean I had the t-shirt of it. It's the one with like the pineapple with skull on the back, and it's like it's called 3 Dots and a Dash.
Oh yeah.
So
I
that's
recall
that's one of them. But yeah, it's like there's always nooks and crannies. There's another one that's kind of like a sports bar, Irish pub up top, but down below it's a speakeasy. Then you have to go behind. It's actually like an old speakeasy where you can actually open up like a door that looks like just like a cabinet. That's really cool.
You have to order an ASMR.
So I just take the crab rangoon with the
Crab rangoon.
One of my favorite Chicago spots. It's a club. It's a jazz club.
Okay.
It's like a legit jazz club.
Let's talk about the one that
Capone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool one. I've been there
It's
too.
called the
I
Green
love
Mill.
it.
You've been to the Green Mill?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I love
really,
that.
really, really like that spot. The Green Mill is it's a jazz club. The Green Mill used to be an entire city block that was operated by Al Capone and his cahoots.
Yeah. Whatever you.
Or
His cohorts.
Cahoots.
His cahoots.
It's Cahoots.
His cahoots.
Capone's cahoots.
Check my band Al Capone's Cahoots.
Capone's Cahoots. That's a good one. All right.
It was a whole city block, and that's kind of where he ran his operation and had stored like fronts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now the only thing that remains of the Green Mill is this jazz club, and it's a cool little joint. But it is a legit jazz club. If you go in, early in the night, you go in $15 for the headliner. Later in the night, once the house band comes on, they drop the cover to like $10. You go in. But if you're sitting up near the front and you're talking, they will kick you out. Like, people go there to enjoy the jazz.
Yeah, that's true. It's very silent when you go in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went in there when it was a house band too. But people were still silent even when the house band was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't talk by the stage, otherwise you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So speaking of like bars and places, so we went to a place called the Nice Lounge, which was in Wrigleyville, so like over by Wrigley Field, and cool place. They had a entire wall dedicated to Malort. If you look up Malort, for the uninitiated, if people don't know what this is, the first things that will come up are articles that say, this is the worst liquor in the country. It says, this is the grossest liqueur, this is the most disgusting drink. And it's like, Chicago's inside joke and all that stuff.
Fuck this liquor.
Fuck you if you like it. Yeah.
Fuck you if you enjoy this.
And
I want to hear your review.
So have you had Malort?
I have had a lot of Malort.
Okay. So the whole night, my friends were like, dude, we're gonna go to this bar, we're gonna get the Malort, dude, you can have a shot of Malort. And I was like, I guess I'm up for that challenge because I know the myths. And they keep saying like, dude, it tastes good. I'm like, all right,
It's an initiation.
Stop
It is
pulling my leg.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. So they keep saying, dude, it's good. I like it. And this is the kind of bit that they would do. And I was thinking like, oh, you're pulling my leg. Like, like, give me a break. I know it tastes bad. I've seen the fucking articles, bro. And so we got to the bar and we started with the Malort. All three of us, my friend Nathan and my new friend Garrison, we all took a shot of Malort. And let me tell you, the thing that I read was that it tastes like a burning tire. Going down, like drinking it, not so bad. Like if you breathe in, you do the whole like normal shot technique, not so bad. But after it's in you, the next 30 minutes, whatever you're drinking is ruined. Because there's the aftertaste.
No.
The aftertaste lingers for a long time, and it's
Josh,
gross.
you never had it?
No.
It's
It's
not good.
It's gross afterwards, but it is definitely not as bad as most people say. That's where I'm at.
No one's... Yeah, when I went to bars, no one ever said anything about Malort.
The last time I was in... No, actually not the last time. The time before, we went up for Riot Fest last September. We stayed with a good buddy of mine, and, you know, he's got all his roommates, and his girlfriend's sitting on the couch, and we came home after one of the days from Riot Fest, and he had a bottle of Malort. You know, normally you do one shot of Malort.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody needs a bottle.
No, we were like just back-to-back shots of Malort, and his girlfriend's face just sitting on the couch just like, did you guys just take multiple shots of Malort?
Like, unironically.
We're like, yeah, what's the problem?
Yeah, it's a pretty good way to just start drinking. You know?
I feel like then by that point that should be the only thing you drink, or
No.
that should be just the last thing you do because you don't want to ruin everything else afterward.
A few hours after I had it, I had a bad headache. And I don't know if it was because of the Malort or just for whatever other reason. Because I have not had a bad headache in a while. But, like, that night we were kind of drinking and going different places. And my head just fucking started pounding. And I'm wondering...
That can happen if you if you drink a bunch of different kinds of liquors. But...
when putting past Malort.
Yeah, past the
Malort.
The
Like
one
he's a
time we went
person.
up and we went to Kuma's Corner, which, another one I meant to recommend you. That's like a Chicago staple for us. I have to go to Kuma's every time I go to Chicago. It's it'll be like the Crow's Nest here. It's a metal themed burger joint. All the special burgers are named after metal bands. But they got 3 of them in Chicago. They got Kuma's 2, and the other Kuma's. But
Kuma's 3.
yeah,
The third.
we went
Return
and
to Kuma.
we took Springerly and Hannah there, and they ordered. Me and my buddy had already gotten our shots of Malort, and they showed up after us, and Springley said, "Yeah, we'll have 2 shots of that Malort." And the server came back and she goes, "Here's 2 shots of that Malort."
And then there's Old Style, which I had Old Style in
The beer?
yeah, the beer.
Okay.
In Lawrence. Like, for whatever reason, there was Old Style in Lawrence. So I had Old Style there, and I thought it was gross. I didn't bother to try it again. I was just like, I know this is gross. From what I read somewhere, it said, I think they called it a Chicago handshake. It's like you take a shot of Malort, then you'd have to drink a tall boy of Old Style or something. Like, you mix those together, and it's gonna be fucking disgusting. But it's like they pride themselves on it, you know. It's like like I said, it's the Chicago inside joke, you know. Walking around in the snow, in the nighttime blizzard conditions.
It's a different kind of vibe.
Different kind of vibe. Pretty cool though.
Walking around in the snow in Chicago is not that bad because you feel like you're in the right place.
Yeah, like it's like nothing stops. You know, if I was telling Nick earlier, if it snows here in St. Louis, we're all fucked.
Yeah,
their
everyone
fucking mind.
goes
Yeah.
insane.
There's enough public transportation where it's just like, it's not a big deal. Also because there's so much stuff concentrated so close together that you can walk to most places. So as long as you got some Tims like me, you're all set.
Well, even then, you can take the metro too, which then just takes you anywhere.
Yeah, the L train, super convenient.
Yeah, it's not that big of. It's not that like costly either.
Walking around and like, you know, being downtown, traversing different neighborhoods and stuff, I noticed like it just kind of felt in general, and this is probably just relative to my experience here, the general demographic is younger. You know, it's just like there's more younger people, whereas everybody, there's no young people in St. Louis. Like, it doesn't seem like to me, or at least a lot less young people.
You're right. All of us on the 444 podcast are at least 1,000 years old.
Not us. I'm saying people.
People around.
I saw a lot of people, you know, wearing their designer clothes, their designer jackets and
People?
shit.
No,
I saw a lot of people wearing this brand called Canada Goose. And
it's really popular.
apparently, and
Yeah,
what
too.
I found out was they're like $1,300 jackets.
Yeah.
And I was seeing so many people wearing these. I was like, what's the deal? Like, it kind of reminded me of, like, if you're in Kansas City, there's this brand that they make these hats that just say KC on them. A lot of people wear those. It was like that, just like prolific. And I thought it was a Chicago thing because I saw so many of them. It's not.
No, it's the Canadian. I was introduced to that in like 2 years ago, and ever since then I've always seen it everywhere, no matter like what state it is. People just love it.
Somewhere there's a factory of geese making these.
I know. And that's why it costs so much money, because they have to train geese
Yeah.
to make these coats.
You know, it's kind of worth it by that point. If you see the factory,
I'd say.
you might might get your money's worth.
I also, like I said, went to the Art Institute Museum. Huge place. Fucking enormous. I didn't get to see all of it. I was there for 3.5 hours and I barely scratched the surface, I felt. I was really paying attention to how other people acted in the art museum. And this brings me to my
This art hurt me.
main Triplefour podcast moment here. I almost want to just call it a news segment. And it's people in public being fucking weird. Like, all these people in theaters who are talking and stuff. Like, the art gallery rules are not as clear, you know? Like, it's... but I personally think it should be more like a library. You know, it's like, if you have to talk, be very quiet, be respectful, just kind of move.
Or if you're with you're on a date or something like
Yeah.
that, you want to lean in and be like, this
Yeah.
guy, yeah.
I saw so many people just fucking, like, bursting into a room and then being like,
Wow!
what is this? Look at that. Did you see that? And it ranged the whole spectrum between, like,
Somebody just walks in and looks at the can of soup by Warhol and just goes, yo!
Whoa! I never thought a soup could be art. Is that Andy?
So it ranged from, like, groups of, like, frat bros who were, like, chuckling and, like, making inside jokes to each other to people who are, like, overtly, like, expressive about how much they appreciated the art. So, like, there was couples walking in, they're like, look at this piece. Wow, that's beautiful. And I'm just like, who are you? Like, what person is, like, passionate enough about art to be, like... And, like, sometimes they were making, like, actually like intelligent remarks, but they were so loud and obnoxious. I was like, this is so weird.
Al Pacino just walks in and goes, "Wow."
Wow, that's a great painting. So yeah, that was weird. There was one guy, and I thought this is hilarious because this is the most Chicago thing at this point. I saw this guy walk in by himself with AirPods, and I could hear like his music. It was like The Weeknd or some shit, and he was so stoned by himself, listening to his music and his AirPods, and just walking up to each painting and just like kind of like gazing at it in this haze, and then just like he gave it like a second and then just moved on to the next one, gazed intensely at it for a second, and then just moved on. And I was like, what is happening right now? There are so many different kinds of people in this art museum right now. There was also a lot of like clearly like rich girls who were just there to take pictures with stuff. That's always you hate to see it.
Yeah, you just hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Like I like to take pictures of some artworks sometimes just so I can like remember what it is and come back and look that artist up and research it a little bit.
These are just photographers that are
not even photographers, just with their phone. Just for the gram.
Well, if I would take a picture of the art, and then I would take a picture usually like the little plaque on the side, just to remember like the last name.
I took a couple when I went to the MoMA in New York, just because the Salvador Dali stuff was bonkers, dude. Yeah, that whole section was so cool.
Yeah, Dali's. What was going on with that guy?
Yeah, Dali, what's going on?
Dali.
What's he doing right now?
What are you doing? Oh no, Josh.
Hey, what's Harold Ramis up to nowadays?
Oh, he's dead. He's being dead.
Oh.
Just like Salvador Dali.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit, Josh didn't hear. Josh.
Excuse me a minute.
And
this is never easy.
It is hard to break that to people about Dali.
What?
Speaking of other famous dead artists, there was a very special exhibition at the Art Institute of one Mr. Andy Warhol, a retrospective, so pieces from his whole career, and it was billed as the most comprehensive retrospective of his in decades. And I kind of expect that from Warhol because he was such a prolific artist, had so many pieces of art and different mediums and all kinds of stuff, photos, films, paintings, the whole thing. Well, since he is such a like famous artist and his pieces are so valuable, it's likely, that his stuff's all over the world. So it is kind of rare for like so much of it to come together in one place. But it was really cool. They had like the room that you entered in had a bunch of the classic portraits, like Marilyn Monroe's, the Mick Jagger, the Muhammad Ali. There was a little bit of the Campbell's Soup.
Did they have soup time? That's what the painting is called, right?
Yeah, it's called Soup Time. No, the soup cans were like his first like real breakout pop art thing, and there actually was like individual paintings of soup, and they didn't actually have those there. I don't know where those are. I think they're probably split up at this point. But there was a lot of stuff. Huge Mao Zedong portrait. A lot of his like later stuff. There was at least 2 paintings that were collaborations between him and Basquiat. And I was thinking, these are probably some of the most expensive paintings I've ever seen, because Basquiat's stuff goes for insane prices. He's like probably one of the most valuable artists that ever did it. But the thing I really liked was seeing the films, because they were projecting some of his screen tests. Like, he used to do this thing at the factory. He would just film like little moments with people that he thought were beautiful. So like there was a little, it's like 2 to 3 minutes usually. So there was like one with like Edie Sedgwick that I saw. There was one with Nico, and like sometimes it would just be them staring into the camera for like 3 minutes, or sometimes they would be like crying. They didn't have like some of the more famous Warhol films. Like there's one called Blowjob, which is just a guy getting a blowjob under a table. Or there's one where a guy's where Warhol is eating a burger, stuff like that. They didn't have that, which is kind of a bummer. Anyway, that was really cool because Warhol, obviously, probably the most famous and critically, acclaimed artist of the modern era, of the postmodern era, rather, the contemporary era. But yeah, that was really cool, and just the whole trip was very cool, getting to experience the real world for once, because really put it even more in perspective than I already was, that our little town of St. Louis, Missouri is not exactly the pinnacle of culture and human civilization. So
Nonsense.
nonsense. We have New Craig, $1.50 Stags.
True. It hits different.
So
they say.
So they say. Speaking of art, David Lynch put out a new short film today. It's David Lynch's birthday, the day we are recording this.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Happy
birthday,
David.
Mr. David Lynch.
Happy Lynch Day.
And he put it out on Netflix, which was kind of a big surprise. And it's called What Did Jack Do? And the film is David Lynch playing a detective, and he is interviewing a monkey. He's interviewing a monkey that he thinks committed a murder.
Okay. I'm with you.
And this monkey has some human's mouth mapped over his. So the monkey is having the conversation with David Lynch. And the script is like almost entirely non sequiturs. Like, I kind of felt like by the end, like, maybe if I go back and watch this again, I might like understand what's happening. But at the same time, I don't think I need to. There was so many great lines. The monkey says, like, you go burn in hell. He's like, you I don't know. It's about 17 minutes long. It's super bizarre. Very classic Lynch type material. The only unfortunate part about it is that I learned that it was actually produced a few years ago. And I was thinking, David Lynch made a new thing.
Yeah.
But it was not the case.
How long was it?
17 minutes.
Oh, so it's not like, okay. Because he made other short movies that were like 40.
Yeah, he's made a lot of shorts.
Yeah.
But the exciting thing to take away from it is that he must have some kind of deal with Netflix.
Okay.
And what I'm I'm hoping for is that he's actually got stuff in the works, like being developed.
Which I feel like that would, especially with Netflix.
Yeah. And I saw somebody tweet earlier. It was like, if I was Netflix and I had this, $1 billion budget for the year, just give David Lynch $100 million and then get out of his way. Like, just see what he's going to do with that.
Yeah.
Because
that would be the best.
Exactly. Like,
that would be
you
the
could
best
not
thing
fail.
You could do.
Yeah.
Because even when David Lynch is at his weirdest, he is still successful. And his fans will love it. Like, David Lynch has not really made anything that, like, even his fans were like, nah.
Yeah. Even if they don't even have, like, even if, like, the movie may not be as good, it will probably get people who don't have a Netflix subscription to subscribe or even at least try it. So it would at least bring out people who are more into, like, David Lynch-esque work that's really not on Netflix. And if they have someone like David Lynch on there, that would just help their case out for subscriptions.
Yeah, well, if you're like a David Lynch fan, or if you're like somebody who's like really into like art house filmmaking, indie filmmaking and stuff, you might not have Netflix because you're just thinking like Netflix is a place where they make all of this commercial bullshit. Yeah. So that might be a good draw for them.
That's what I'm thinking of, into that like populace.
Yeah. So Netflix, you know what to fucking do.
What if David Lynch ran Netflix?
Actually, I have his personal phone number if you'd like me to call him.
Oh. Do you want me to call? You're calling him? You want me to call him?
Yeah, you go ahead and call. I'll give you his number. Here it is. Boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. That's me putting the number into your phone. As we all know, phones still make beeps when you punch numbers
Well,
in.
mine do. I have
Mine-
I
yeah.
have the tile tones on. The dial tones.
Tile Dones.
Tile dones.
Tile
Tile
Dones.
Dones.
It's
Check
all
out my
good.
band Tile Down. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Is this David?
Yes,
Hey,
it's me,
I.
David Lynch.
My name's Nick Wandersea, and I just wanted to say that really phenomenal stuff. Truly, I love it.
I haven't seen Eraserhead yet.
I can't.
It's me,
My friend Josh,
David Lynch.
he's just not gonna stop. Josh, he's not gonna stop talking.
What do you mean?
I was gonna tell him that you had never seen Eraserhead, but
Well, we just told him that.
anyway, David.
Have you seen Eraserhead?
He.
What?
Do I tell him?
No, what? I know, yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I told you to tell him.
I have. My friend hasn't. I'm planning on showing him very soon. But I wanted to ask you something very, very important.
Shoot.
Um,
I heard that. He just told
what
me
if
to
you ran
shoot.
Netflix?
Well, I have to break it to you, champ. I already do.
Oh shit,
I heard Champ. What was that?
Josh, this dude runs Netflix.
Oh.
Now's our chance.
Put Eraserhead on Netflix.
To put Eraserhead on Netflix.
No.
Well, okay, well.
Doesn't sound like he's gonna do it.
Okay, well. We tried.
I've just seen a new film. It's called Darkness on the Edge of Town.
That's not even on Netflix, Josh. That movie's not even on Netflix.
What movie?
I have access to all films.
Oh shit, dude. I'm getting really nervous
can't
here.
hear
Josh,
him.
you gotta talk to him. Take the phone. Take the phone.
Hello?
Hello? It's me,
David?
David Lynch.
Yeah, so what'd you just say? Nick here. can we-
Hello,
Okay, yeah, hello?
David Lynch.
He's just saying the same thing again.
This is what I
Is
was
he
trying to
having a
tell
stroke?
you, dude. It's ridiculous.
I've just had 4 cups of espresso.
Oh, 4 cups of espresso really
He
does
said
that to you.
espresso.
Did you say espresso?
Yes,
I don't think that's right, David. I don't.
I know more than you.
Okay, what's
I meditate often.
I don't do
You
that.
should donate to the David Lynch Foundation.
So is that for people?
Now.
Is that for people who meditate?
Yes.
All right then. I'll get on that. But about the
It's
whole
me, David Lynch.
I don't think this
Look,
is going
this
anywhere,
guy's-
Josh. Like,
Watch
Okay.
my new film, What Did Jack Do? On Netflix.com.
ask him what did Jack do.
what did he do?
You'll have to watch
No, I
the film.
look. I'm not okay. I'll cut you a deal here, David. You put Eraserhead on Netflix because I know you run it, and I'll watch that.
Deal.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
All right, I
Eraserhead
think
going to
that's about
Netflix.
as much as we're
Eraserhead.
gonna get.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got to go now. I've got to make it to Late Show with Jimmy Fallon.
All right, have a couple more espressos before you do
I've-
that.
Already had some during this conversation.
Well, have a couple more because Jimmy will really appreciate the live energy. He'll laugh at anything, but I think if you get on there and bust a couple ones, he'll laugh till his gut hurts.
Who?
Jimmy Fallon.
No, it's David Lynch.
Oh, he's
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Whoop.
I just got back. What were you guys
David,
doing?
David really is.
We just dude.
David's on some.
I
something.
stepped
wish
away
you
to
were
get
here.
some Malort.
We just got off the phone with David
Can't wait to
Lynch.
dive
What?
into that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
know you're
a
a big
huge fan.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan. It was the weirdest conversation I've ever had in my life.
Look, he
Shit.
kept repeating his name as if like I didn't understand what his name was.
I don't.
Did he sound like his character Gordon Cole from Twin Peaks? Like Not even like a real person, like a cartoon.
No, he is a cartoon.
I mean, is
He's
David
a-
Lynch even a real person? Come on, let's be real.
Anyway, we were
fair.
talking about like what would happen if he ran Netflix.
Well, he does.
After that conversation, I can't tell.
He could have been doing a bit, actually. Yeah, this actually could be true.
I am a little I'm a little distraught right now.
Like he said he had like 4 espressos,
I never
which
like I got
Expressos?
I never thought that after a conversation with David Lynch that I would.
look, he said
Be
he
so
he said he
distraught?
had
I-
some
like-
during the conversation. Now the answer is how many espressos did he have while we were talking to him?
I really was looking for some like information, but there was no exposition there, and I'm just like,
Look, the fact that I even asked a question and then he said David Lynch made me come to realize that maybe it's not just the espressos.
I'm really rethinking everything right now.
Wait, you were
I'm
surprised
even
that
rethinking my answer to the question of what would happen if David Lynch
David Wrench.
David Lynch.
David Wrench.
Lynch made Naked Lunch for Netflix.
So wait, you're surprised that you had a conversation with David Lynch and you're now distraught because there was no exposition? That seems like kind of his thing.
Look, I was going with the
I mean-
motto of I was going to hear some crazy shit. I kind of did. Espressos caught me off guard a little bit because that's not a real word.
Is that what? Do you think that he's actually drinking espresso, or is that just something he made up?
I mean, you could be doing anything behind the phone. The question is what?
He does have his own coffee, like his own brand of coffee.
So he's just drinking his own coffee. Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe that's.
Is
the
it espresso?
It is.
Espresso.
David
Okay,
Lynch's
good.
espresso.
David Lynch Express.
Oh,
Well, you know what? He's great. You know, he's a really important artist.
doesn't he have like 12 kids or some ridiculous
He,
shit?
he does have a lot of kids. I think maybe like 5 or 6.
Okay,
That's where the espressos come in.
With
but they're
he-
all with different people.
yeah, he's had like 5 wives.
Check out my band Five Wives at
Wait, are they gonna open for the Subtle Fuckers?
at the Sinkhole this Thursday.
Damn,
Subtle
it's gonna be a good show.
Fuckers, 5 Wives.
Subtle Fuckers and Five Wives.
Who goes
Count
there?
me there.
Is the main man.
Well, that's a good place to stop. I just wanted to say I put out my Oscar predictions video on the channel, on the
Okay.
Triplefour channel. Did you guys look at the nominations at all?
I looked at a little bit. I was looking for like 1917. How many they only had? I have a few. I have a couple.
I think they're gonna do well.
Yeah, I mean, but I haven't. The last time I did it was like the day after they announced, and I haven't re-looked at it. I'll look at it again though.
What I really realized looking through all the nominees and making the predictions, my predictions really come down to how much respect I have for the Academy.
Yeah.
And I say this at the beginning of the video, but it's like they can either pick Joker, which is the popular choice,
Yeah.
all the
He already won a SAG award for Best Actor, and that's for Walking.
and the
Phoenix.
Golden Globe.
Yeah.
But they could either go with Joker or they can pick a film that actually deserves any of the awards. You know,
Yeah.
like, and it's because the Oscars is such a thing where they're like trying to just sell ad space. You know, it's like
Just tossing that around, huh?
last year Green Book won 3 awards and Bohemian Rhapsody won 4. So it's like,
Oh,
if you like really start thinking about it, that's like, are they just gonna give Joker everything?
Yeah.
I think it.
Some eyes do.
I think it is gonna win a lot, but comes down to how much you
I'm gonna
believe in
be
them.
Real upset. Real upset. If Adam Driver doesn't get anything for Marriage Story.
He's not gonna win.
Fuck.
Joaquin Phoenix is a locked winner for Best Actor. There's literally no way he does not get Best Actor, and I told you I agree. Adam Driver is my Best Actor pick, but
Have we seen him
Sorry.
in Star Wars? I mean, come on.
We got Senator Palpatine on the podcast.
I just want to say, Adam Driver is the best actor I've ever seen.
damn.
And although he killed me, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, I'm just saying, Adam Driver should win. I haven't seen the movie personally, but I'm pretty sure the nominee committee hasn't seen all the movies they picked. So
You guys ever seen that movie Baby Driver?
Fuck Baby Driver. I'm more into Adam Driver.
That was the documentary about Adam Driver when he was small.
Oh. Babies can't drive.
Yeah, no, Jojo Rabbit only was nominated for Best Picture. Scarlett Johansson was nominated.
Only nominated for
Um,
Best Picture.
yeah. And
What if you were
production
nominated for
design.
Best Picture and somebody said you were only nominated for Best Picture?
out of the categories, that's what I'm trying
You
to
know,
say.
I'm going
You piece
for.
of shit.
I'm going for. I'm going for Parasite for best director though. think.
Yeah, Parasite is.
I don't want to say his name because I don't want to say it.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, I just say Bong.
Joon.
I didn't
I'm
want.
telling you right now, Parasite will win nothing except for foreign film. This is my prediction because
This is the Oscars.
You hope,
Let's
though.
be
the
real.
Says
Oscars, the
others.
Academy are fucked up.
I'd
They
like
don't
to
see
not
foreign shit.
thank the Academy, first and foremost.
Okay.
Secondly, come to the Sinkhole this Thursday for Subtle Fuckers, Five Wives, and Who Goes There. Doors at 6, bands at 7, $3.
And for that
$3.
$3,
That's
you
a
get
steal.
2 stags.
Yeah, free.
And $1.
You have to ask though before you take them.
Yeah. And you have to Venmo them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Venmo.
you
You have to
have to
Venmo.
Venmo.
Venmo at the door. Yeah. See, is there anything else really here? 1917 got nominated twice for best original screenplay. I didn't know that.
Oh, Knives Out? What's Knives Out up for?
Just original
That's the only
screenplay.
one. That's the only nomination too.
Okay.
That's it.
Lighthouse got nominated for Best Cinematography.
Oh,
That was it though.
That was it.
That was it.
well,
The Academy won't recognize independent films, really, so...
no.
Fuck art.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck art. Andy Warhol? Fuck it.
That's not that far off from what Warhol was kind of trying to say. Warhol and...
I'm sorry, what I meant to say was Andy Warhol, fuck you.
Andy Warhol. Remember that David Bowie song? That was cool.
Remember David Bowie?
What's he up to
Hey,
now?
what's Harold Ramis doing nowadays?
I think he and Bowie are writing a screenplay about their alive friend, Andy Warhol.
And Salvador Dali is
And
the
Dali.
is the art
Oh,
director.
Did you... Dude, Salvador Dali is...
Salvador
Salvador.
Salvador Dali is
Salvador.
dead.
Look, I had to walk back there, and I had to look. Give me a chance here. I just wanted to
Salvador
live.
Dali.
I'm pretty pissed about this microphone thing. I sound better than ever right now. Well, it's been a fantastic episode of the Triplefour podcast, number 3 podcast in the world. Thank you to Anchor FM.
Thank you.
Thank you for our
Burt
guests.
Bacharach.
Thank you for our guests, David Lynch, Emperor Palpatine.
Can't believe we got him on.
And Scarch, thank you.
Thank you, Scarch.
As always.
Shout out to Inches from Glory. Shout out to
Who goes there?
Who Goes There, I guess. Shout out to Subtle Fuckers, Five Wives, The Sinkhole, the people that make the plastic things that hold 6-packs of beer together.
Shout out Navy Federal. Shout out Citizens Bank.
I'm starting to disagree with these shows.
I don't know what Citizen Banks are in there. Like,
These are the people that approve me for the
yeah,
loan
well, they
for
give me
my
give me
house.
a loan.
Shout out to Nick's House. Shout out to Malort.
Shout out
Don't want to.
Chicago. You know what?
Yeah, shout out
Fuck
to-
yeah.
Dusty City.
Very dusty. Not
So
a lot
dusty. Dustiest city I've been to.
Yes, because there's no wind to blow the dust
of. Yeah.
away.
They need to get some wind
It's a real
installed.
shame.
Get some fucking
Install
wind.
Get
some
some
wind.
fans.
Idiot wind. Wow, Bob Dylan just stepped into this.
Yeah, we're not
Podcast
doing
studio
that.
for
All right,
a
I gotta
surprise.
go. Okay, bye.
I'm so glad Nick's gone. Podcast is way better now.
Oh my god.
Well, you just kept trying to talk about his band, his fucking dumb band.
Like he just would not stop
don't
going
even have a-
off on his venue. He just kept talking
Seriously.
about that for
I'm a
hours on end.
Friend of Craig's.
Craig's
And
kind of a nice guy.
He's
you
a
know?
cool dude.
Yeah.
He just needs money for the house. That's why he charges people for staying.
They say new Craig's all right. Old Craig, a little bit of a bummer
come
that
here
one.
with your band that doesn't even have a singer, and you're gonna demand free beer. Loser.
I mean, look, he went to the store to get the stag. He deserves a little bit of credit.
Yeah,
That's a little, yeah.
Anyway,
Great.
I'm so glad that after this we're telling him he can't be on the podcast anymore.
Rest in peace, Nick, on the podcast.
He's going to end up like old Harold Ramis and Salvador Dali. Alive, but not on any podcasts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Goodbye.
Bye.